Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Always great. Yeah. There's actually a good comedy skit on that, but we can talk about that a different time. But
Okay, cool.
anyway, I know you asked to see my newsletter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
PhD student, I research beans and other pulses, which is pretty cool in and of itself. But I have a website that basically showcases kind of different science that's coming out. Also, different things about, for instance, what beans look like in the field, and then also recipes. So that's kind of the goal of my website.
Mm-hmm.
But I send out a monthly newsletter. So since you asked to see the one for November, ta-da, here it is.
Nice.
Okay. So I started by saying daylight saving time sucks, which is my true opinion. I think it's awful. But I have to ask, what do you think of daylight saving time?
Actually, as far as I remember, it's like more like time changes in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard, I don't know, like a fall, like a behind, spring back, something like that. I don't know,
Yeah, I
what that
think
is
spring
exactly.
forward and fall
Spring
back.
forward and
Mhm.
then fall back. Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Right. So this time we fell behind. So basically, it now gets dark way
Mm-hmm.
too early. So you get home from work and it's already dark. So that kind of
Gotcha.
sucks. I know that there's a history behind it and a reason that we did it, but I feel like maybe these days don't need to anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I know that at least Arizona does not. They do not do daylight saving time. So,
Oh, so
are we-
I thought like all like a state in the United States do it, but there are some states that actually they don't do it.
yeah. So most do, but always an exception to every rule, right? So, for instance, Arizona. So, 1 point for Arizona. There's one reason to move there. There you go. But anyway, so this is my newsletter. So I started with that because it's kind of that time of year where daylight saving is happening. So my
Yes, I
answer,
like the sentence. Daylight saving time sucks. So you should probably eat more beans.
exactly, the solution to everything. But what's your opinion? Do you like daylight saving time? I've heard some people do, some people don't. What do you think?
To be honest, I mean I was born and grew up in South Korea. We don't
Hmm.
have that kind of thing.
Right.
And it's really confusing because all of a sudden you change your time. I mean, even though all the electronic devices these days, I mean, it changes. I mean, they change time automatically, so I don't need to worry about anything. But at the same time, I feel like, sometimes I lose time. Sometimes, I gain time, gain
Yeah.
hours, that's what I mean. It's kind of confusing.
It is. It's a little bit disorienting, and especially because I'm a morning person, also, as you know. And so I'll wake up just freakishly early
Right.
after this time change. Like I was getting up at 2:30 or 3 because you know. Anyway, so it's not my favorite, but we don't need to keep talking about it. Sorry.
Okay.
So so I'm just kind of doing the newsletter. I'm just going to point out a couple things because obviously you don't need to read through this whole thing. That's not
Okay.
what we're here to do. But kind of went through and just some little fun updates that relate to legumes, and then a book, some fun cereal that's made out of beans. What do you think? Would that be delicious?
I guess.
Good answer. Yeah. so, uh, so then scrolling down and basically what I do. So here you can see is me modeling my bean shirt and necklace.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, I'm pretty cool. Uh, and then just talking about some new recipes that went up. But I guess so these were the new recipes. And then what I kind of wanted to maybe talk about is here.
Hmm.
So mom visited, right? And she's very supportive, as mothers tend to be. And
Hmm.
she wanted to kind of try some of the recipes and everything. So we had a lot of legumes while she was out here, did a lot of cooking, which was really fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. And actually there's a lot of rice cakes, like Korean style rice cakes, because that was one of her
Nice.
favorites. So
Hmm.
I have to ask, what is your favorite type of rice cake?
Um, I like songpyeon, which we
Mhm.
eat during Korean Thanksgiving. I don't know, like Chuseok. I don't
Yeah,
know
like
what's the name in English, but
I
yeah,
think probably Korean Thanksgiving is gonna help people understand it the most, but you could also
right.
say like the harvest festival kind of in
Harvest
Korea.
festival.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
based off of the lunar calendar. So if you say that, that kind of gives some context to people,
Right.
like fall harvest festival on the lunar calendar.
So 그 송편 has really like a chewy, like a rice cake,
Mhm.
you know, outside, and it really has like a, you know, sweet stuff inside.
Mhm.
So I like it. What about you? What kind of like, you know, rice cake do you like?
Ooh, I haven't met one I don't like. I like them all. I like I like savory ones too, you know,
Mhm.
or some of the steamed ones that have like some of the sweet pumpkin and red bean in them. Those are good too. And yeah, I adore rice
Mm.
cakes. Love the texture.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're going through here and talking about, you know, different types of legumes that you can put in fried rice waffles or tofu waffles. Fun. I know Korea also likes to use waffle maker in unique ways, and I think that's
Right.
fantastic. Yeah. And then here are some kind of Korean type rice cake type
Nice.
recipes. And so, yeah, mom is a huge fan of Korean rice cakes. She adores them. She would eat them so much when she visited Korea. So I was kind of just talking about that, and then scrolled down and talked about a few, you know, more kind of science or legume related things. But I know you
Nice.
mentioned there were a couple words you wanted to talk about in here when you look through it. So
Yeah, if you like scroll up a little bit, there are
Mhm.
3 bullet points.
to the beginning of
Yeah, it's the
newsletter?
beginning, probably. Yeah.
Okay,
I think
don't get busy. I'm gonna scroll quicker.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
So right there, probably the third bullet point. You know
Yes.
how I alluded to a bean shirt and necklace in the October newsletter. So there's a
Mhm.
word, allude.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Good question. I like this word,
Mhm.
obviously, since I chose to use it, right? But when you allude to something, so basically what I'm referring to here is in the previous month's newsletter, I kind of hinted at, like I gave a little bit of information about maybe I have a bean shirt and a necklace. Again, very cool person. So I alluded to that. I sort of hinted at it. I maybe started talking about it, but I didn't really go into detail. I didn't give a lot of information about it.
Mhm.
So when you allude to something, you're kind of starting to mention it, but you
Oh,
aren't diving
started.
into detail. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
kind of hinting at it. Maybe it could be something that would kind of pique somebody's attention,
Mhm.
or sorry, pique their interest, kind of like that. So yeah, in that case, I alluded to a bean shirt and necklace,
Yeah.
but maybe in, you know, an episode of a TV show or something like that, they could allude to what will happen in the next episode. They'll kind of hint at things or something like that.
Hinting things. Okay, gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
If you want to try using it in a sentence, I know it's hard on the spot. So feel free to just send me a message of, you know, a practice sentence that you wrote with it, and I'll
Okay,
send you a response and give you feedback on if that's good to go.
cool. And
If
then
you want to go on the spot, go for it. But otherwise, don't want to put pressure on you. So yeah, send me that message just to practice to make sure
Okay.
that it made sense what I said, and I'll give you feedback right away.
Okay, I will. And if you scroll down
Mhm.
a little bit more, a little
Where-ish?
bit more. I don't remember exactly where, but
Admire
a
my
little bit
shirt one more
more.
time.
A little bit more. A little bit more. Around, yes,
Since
here.
I'm so zoomed in, it makes it look very long. I promise it's not actually that long of a newsletter. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So
Let's see. There's a number 2. You see that in the
yes.
paragraph number 2, these are all fun and different ways to use you waffle maker or your waffle maker.
Hey, it's definitely that's a typo.
Okay,
Good
your
job.
waffle maker to indulge in a delightful textural experiences. So to indulge in something, I don't know what that
Mhm.
means.
Yeah. Well, first of all, good job. Native speaker, and I obviously still do this as well, especially
yeah.
when you're writing something. I think this is a tip that I want to give in general, and you can see maybe I didn't follow my own advice necessarily.
We
But
all
if
make
you,
mistakes.
yes, exactly. Thank you, thank you. So when you write something, especially if you've been staring at it a long time, at least
Right.
for me, and I know I've talked to other people who feel the same, you don't even see the mistakes because
Right.
you like autocorrect, you know?
Mhm.
So you go through it and you read it. And when I was reading this, I read it as because I'm just fixing the mistakes automatically in my brain. I'm sure you do that as well.
Mhm.
So sometimes it's good to take like a couple day break and then come back and read again and be like, oh, oops, there was a little typo there or something. It helps you catch it.
Okay.
It's food for thought if you have the time to do that.
Gotcha.
But you asked about indulge, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what are maybe some things that you could really enjoy? So I'm a food person. Give me some foods that you really, really enjoy eating. Maybe you could enjoy eating vegetables,
I
but
really
usually
like
something a little bit
Vietnamese
special.
rice noodle soup. It's called
Okay.
pho. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Mhm.
PHO.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you the pronunciation because since I don't speak Vietnamese, I imagine my pronunciation would not be great. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
And so if that's something you really like, you can indulge in a nice steaming bowl of pho, right?
Oh, okay.
So indulge, we usually use it for something special, and it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be food. You could indulge, like something that you purchase or something like that, or you could indulge in like a chocolate bar.
Mhm.
Right? I love vegetables, but you normally wouldn't say, oh, I indulged in carrots. It's not really that type of feeling. It's kind
Right.
of something a little bit decadent, a little bit nice that you
Mm.
kind of treat yourself to,
Okay.
right? So you could indulge in, yeah, like a steaming, nice bowl of soup, I guess. But oftentimes it's used with, like chocolate or cake or something a little bit rich like that.
Mhm.
Mhm. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, of course. And again, it doesn't have to be food.
Okay.
Okay. Any other things you wanted to ask about? I don't need
Uh,
to drag you through my newsletter anymore.
I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, anytime. And cool beans is an expression you'll hear.
Ooh, cool
Maybe more
beans.
in the past, but it's kind of starting to make a comeback. So I hope you have a cool beans week. That's a little bit of a
Thank
stretch.
you.
Maybe you wouldn't use it like that, but there you go.
You too. Bye bye.
Thanks. Talk soon.